Alrighty, hello, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Anthony DeSimone with his newest edition of Penguins Pointers, number 24. And boy, do we have some stuff to talk about. Very interesting game that ended last night between Tampa Bay Lightning and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Some good things, some bad things, some big decisions coming down the road, and I'm going to discuss some of them and offer my perspective on those in this podcast. So let's jump right in and get started. First and foremost, I know they lost 4-3, but that was a mental victory for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and both teams will tell you, a loss is a loss, a win's a win, but there was a mental victory there for the Pittsburgh Penguins. To be down 4-0 in a game that they were embarrassed in it through the first two periods, and if that game had ended in a shutout, would have been detrimental to the team. They fought back. They got 3 and came pretty darn near close to getting that fourth one at the end to tie it up, but that's a mental victory. They showed that they had still Pittsburgh Penguin hockey in them, and they were going to keep fighting and keep playing hard. And it shows Tampa Bay that they aren't going to get any easy wins in this series. So, mental victory despite that loss. Next on the list, that HPK line, Hagelin, Kessel, Bonino. Unreal. Dominating. They're honestly better than what Crosby and Malkin have been doing, and it's not to say Crosby and Malkin aren't doing well. Kessel, Hagelin, and Bonino are just outplaying them, that line. Look at the stats there. 8 goals for Kessel with 9 assists. Hagelin's got 5 goals with 6 assists. Bonino's got the assist leading 11 assists and 2 goals. That line is dominating. That line is strong. And if I'm Sullivan, I'm putting that line out there as much as possible. If that means taking ice time away from Crosby and Malkin's line, so be it. These guys are hitting it and hitting it hard. And if that's the case, keep them out on the ice because they're the hot line right now for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So, looking really good for them. Kessel once again had a goal last night to kind of jumpstart the team. In the third period, Malkin got on the score sheet. Kunis was able to get on the score sheet. So some players, Malkin especially, who hadn't scored a goal in a while, and let's just jump down to the next point here. Malkin gets a goal. I was honestly, during the second intermission, frustrated, and I know I was talking to myself and I was saying, you know what, Malkin's playing like crap. I don't know if maybe it was just what I was seeing in terms of his effort, but it looked like he was just kind of walking around on his skates in the first two periods. Too many passes here and there. He wouldn't take the initiative and take the shot, and he got bowled over by, I think, Callahan at one point. And to me, it just looked like Malkin wasn't putting the effort out on the ice, and thank goodness that in the third period we saw some life out of Evgeny Malkin, and for his efforts that he put in the third period, he was rewarded with a goal. So that ends his goalless streak. He now has 4 goals in the playoffs. Hopefully he'll get going again like Crosby did so that the team can get some more offensive support. On the defensive side, the downside is Daly goes down. Last I heard, Daly has something with the lower body injury. Not sure if he's going to be in for Game 5, and that's going to be a huge blow to the Penguins' defense. That means our good friend Olli Maatta will be getting the nod to come back in the game should Trevor Daly not be healthy to start Game 5. You guys know how I feel about Olli Maatta if you watched the last podcast. I don't like him on the ice. Maybe this sit-down will get his head straight and get him out there on the ice playing well again, but I have my doubts. So defensively, the Pittsburgh Penguins will be a little bit strapped of a veteran defenseman in Trevor Daly, who has won a Stanley Cup. So there's a big loss. So the positives and negatives and everything I'm talking about here leads up to the last point. Who is going to be in net for Game 5 at home versus Tampa Bay? I've heard the argument saying Marc-Andre Fleury should be in. I've heard the argument saying it should be Matt Murray. I have my decision that I'm going to let you know about, but let's break this down as to saying, let's make the case for Marc-Andre Fleury first. You can make the case for Marc-Andre Fleury, Stanley Cup winner, over a decade in the NHL. He has experience. There's his stats, 53 and 44. He's played 99 hockey games in the playoffs. He's got a decent goals against average, decent save percentage. He's a solid goaltender. He's a great goaltender for the Pittsburgh Penguins. You can ride on that. On the other hand, you have Matt Murray. Matt Murray, who has become a very hot goaltender here in the playoffs. He has looked stellar despite the fact that it's his rookie season in the NHL, his first time in the playoffs, and he's done well in keeping the Penguins in the postseason. Record of 9-4, goals against is better than Fleury, save percentage better than Fleury at .923, but there's downsides to both of them as well. Both are great candidates, but both have their downsides for specific reasons. First reason is, for Marc-Andre Fleury, is he going to be rusty if the Penguins were to start him in Game 5? The man hasn't played a full 60-minute hockey game since March 31st. I understand the Penguins put him in last night. He was only tested 7 shots, only in the game for 18 minutes. So really not much was able to be seen there. On the other hand, the downside for Matt Murray is how is he going to handle being pulled? Will it rattle him? Will it make him play worse, or will it make him play better? The other thing you have to take into consideration is the Penguins are riding on Matt Murray's shoulders in net. That is a lot of pressure on a 21-year-old rookie goaltender to handle. And he's handled it well. He seems to be calm, but since the last series against the Capitals, which I thought was his best series, he has not played that well here in the Tampa series. He's given up some more easy goals, and Tampa Bay has found his weak spot, which is up high on the glove side, as they have beaten him there multiple times. If you watch the goals that go past Matt Murray, every other goal beats him glove side high. Tampa Bay knows where to score on Matt Murray, and they're using it to their advantage in getting goals into the net. So, those are the positives and the negatives of both goaltenders that can be matched up here. It's a tough decision. It really is. And maybe Sullivan already has his mindset and he's just waiting for Sunday to keep the media quiet and keep them thinking. But I can almost guarantee you Sullivan has his decision already. Some people will agree with it. Some people won't. Here's my take on it. I say start Marc-Andre Fleury. It's Game 5. It's a home game. It would be his first home game. It'd be first game in front of a home crowd in over 2.5 months. The energy of that building, knowing that their star goaltender is in net, the crowd will be on their feet, and that energy will transfer to the Pittsburgh Penguins on the ice. Look how well they played in the third period. Some could say it was a discussion that was had in the third period or in the second intermission. Others have argued it's the fact that Marc-Andre Fleury was in the net. It was the energy boost the Penguins needed to put that effort in the game 4, which was, and most teams would just have taken their loss there, but the Penguins did not. I say start Marc-Andre Fleury, put him in the game, get him playing. He is the veteran goaltender. He has a Stanley Cup. He knows how to handle pressure. He's shaken off some of his rust. He made a couple good saves. He only faced 7 shots, but he made a couple good saves to keep the team at 4-0 at the point, or keep Tampa Bay at 4 goals. So I say go with Marc-Andre Fleury. The other reason I say go with Marc-Andre Fleury is because Trevor Daley is out. Let's assume he's not starting on Sunday. If Trevor Daley's not starting Sunday, the defense is going to have to be even better than it was before. Because we all know with Ole Mata on the ice, no offense to Ole Mata, he's going to be making mistakes. He's going to be giving up chances on the net. And we've seen Matt Murray get beat. We've seen Matt Murray struggle a little bit against Tampa Bay. Maybe Tampa Bay's figured out Matt Murray, and this is where we put Marc-Andre in for the rest of the way. At no point was it ever said that Matt Murray was going to carry the Pittsburgh Penguins all the way to the Stanley Cup. His job, in my opinion, was to get the Penguins through the playoffs until Marc-Andre Fleury was healthy. Once Fleury was healthy, Fleury should have went back in net and played in the playoffs. Some people played with the argument of you don't take a hot goaltender out. I play the argument of I understand Matt Murray's playing well, but Marc-Andre Fleury is the starter. And to have a starter in the backup role in the playoffs, I just don't see that as a smart move. I would rather have the goaltender that has the extensive playoff experience, that knows how to handle when he's down, that knows how to handle when he's ahead, and how to handle stressful situations in tied games that go into overtime. And I'd rather have a goaltender that has done it more than a goaltender in his rookie season. It's great to see Matt Murray get these reps. I just don't think that Matt Murray has the skill set and talent and mental strength to make it through this Tampa Bay series. I feel like Tampa Bay has his number. Like I said, they're beating him glove side high on almost every single goal. They know his weak spot. And you know the Western Conference is watching this too, to see if we end up playing in the Western against the West in the Stanley Cup final. They're going to know about his weak spot. Here we put Marc-Andre Fleury in. He's a healthy goaltender. You know, he's not worn down by playing all these minutes in the playoffs. You now have a fresh goaltender. The only thing I will warn that the Penguins should not do is flip-flop goaltenders. Don't put Murray in for 2 periods, then put Fleury in. Don't put Fleury in one game and put Murray in the next. If the Penguins are going to switch to Marc-Andre Fleury, it's got to be Marc-Andre Fleury all the way, the rest of the way that they're in the running for the playoffs, or in the playoffs. The only time you'd go back to Murray is if Fleury's getting blown out and they need a momentum swing. Because the same mistake was made by the Dallas Stars and their 2 goaltenders, who I think were Kari Lehtinen and I think Antti Niemi was their other goaltender, if I remember correctly. They were flopping goaltenders. They got embarrassed at home in Game 7 against the St. Louis Blues. Because the goaltending was not consistent, they kept switching goaltenders. So when they did switch goaltenders, there was no momentum gain because the team was just so used to the change. And now you're basically using a goaltender in the bad way instead of using him in the right way, which is saying, all right, you're going out there to start. Now it's just, we'll just pick a goaltender and he'll go out there. It's not the same. So if the Penguins do switch to Marc-Andre, they need to leave him in for the rest of the playoffs. Do not switch back to Murray if you go and make that decision. But I'd say go with Fleury now. Matt Murray has done his job. His job was not to win us the Stanley Cup, or the Penguins the Stanley Cup. His job was to get the Pittsburgh Penguins through the injury of having Marc-Andre Fleury out with a concussion. He has done his job. He has done it extremely well. It's time to hand the reins back over to the starting goaltender, Marc-Andre, and let him take his team in the playoffs further. That's my thought. People will disagree. People will make strong arguments for Matt Murray, and they're not wrong. Matt Murray has earned it with the way he has played. And if it was up to me, if there was a way you could have both goaltenders in at the same time, I'd have the best of them both in at the same time. But the Penguins have to make a decision. I would hope they'd go with their starter, Marc-Andre Fleury, and give Murray the backup role. But we will find out on Sunday, as the game will be at 7 p.m. Sunday, if I remember correctly. The series, of course, as you know, is tied at 2. My tips to win: utilize home ice advantage. The Penguins took a game in Tampa. I know Penguins fans, you guys wanted them to win and go up 3-1 in the series, but they won, technically, because they took a road game, which means the series home ice advantage swings back to Pittsburgh. We can win Game 5, lose Game 6, and win Game 7. We have 2 home games again that we can win and put them away. If it takes 7, it takes 7. If it takes 6, that's great. But I think this will end up being a 7-game series, so the Penguins need to utilize home ice and win Game 5. If they don't win Game 5, it's going to be real hard to make a case to say they'll come back to console for Game 7 because they got to get through Tampa in Game 6 first. So utilize the home ice. Second is discipline. Tampa Bay was getting up in the Pittsburgh Penguins' kitchen in Game 5, something they haven't done all series, and it was working. Letang was throwing a bit of a temper tantrum. Players were starting to get in scraps in front of the goal mouths. The Penguins have to be disciplined. Take their lumps, take their hits, their cross-checks, their slashes, whatever the Tampa Bay Lightning want to throw at them, and go to the bench. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is the score on the board. It does not matter if you hit them 10 times more. It doesn't matter if you slash that guy in his hands. What matters is how many goals you have compared to your opponent. So be disciplined. Lastly, A strong and smart forecheck by the Pittsburgh Penguins. That has been their mo. That is what has worked for them in these playoffs. They need to get back to it and keep with it. They showed it in the third period, and it was incredible to see how much pressure they had. The game looked like they were in the offensive zone for 2/3 of that period. And that's probably was the case. So strong, smart forecheck. I say smart because I don't want the Penguins to be making mistakes where Letang pinches down on a play and it's a 2-on-1 the other way, especially with the way the goaltending situation is going and we're not knowing who's in. Is Murray struggling? Will Fleury be rusty if they go with him? So play smart. So those are my tips to win. I think if they follow those, Game 5 should be a victory to the Penguins, considering that strong performance in Game 4 despite going down 4-0. The Penguins fought back. They had a lot of stuff to build off of from that game. So hopefully it'll transition into a home win in Game 5. But only time will tell. We'll find out tomorrow night. Hopefully the Penguins do win that game. If not, it's going to become a very interesting series in the sense that they're going to have to win on the road and avoid going down 4-2. So this series can turn very quickly and negatively for the Pittsburgh Penguins if they fail to win Game 5. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they win. As for me, I'm done. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, there's not much I can do for you. I can apologize, but I'm not going to. Go ahead and like that video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will catch you Penguin fans next time. Go Pittsburgh.